Ellarige namaskara. Let us look at the various aspects of this topic. Bengaluru Suburban Rail Project or BSRP by K-Ride versus local train services by SWR or Southwestern Railways. Now, Bengaluru is globally infamous for traffic congestion and all its consequences. We need urgent steps to drastically and quickly reduce the number of vehicles on the roads in order to improve quality of life in and around the city. We mainly have three options of public transport: bus, metro, and rail. Now, under rail, there are two options, suburban and local. For clarity and differentiation, let us refer to BSRP by K-Ride as suburban train and local services by SWR as local trains. There is a school of thought wanting local trains to be started now in and around Bengaluru using existing tracks without laying any new tracks and without cutting any trees, along with a call to halt the BSRP. Yes, ideally, SWR should have run trains catering to needs of Bengaluru's local commute, as is being done in Mumbai for over 100 years. Preference was given to local train movements, fully supported by a plethora of tracks, automatic signaling, terminals, stations, platforms, maintenance depots, etc., along with dedicated staff and infra, with top priority for this from both public and their representatives for decades. Every day, about 75 lakh people use local trains, which cover over 400 kilometers in and around Mumbai along 7 major lines with frequency of 3 to 4 minutes. 275 12 and 15 coach trains run over 3,000 services every day between 4 a.m. and 1 a.m. The tracks are not single or just double. There are sections where 6th track has been laid. Chennai, Delhi, Lucknow, Kanpur, Hyderabad, and Pune too have local trains running on existing tracks. Of course, not anywhere near the frequency and punctuality, effectiveness and efficiency as in Mumbai, and definitely not across their locally available networks. Their level of service is not what will make a difference to Bengaluru, because Bengaluru is different from these cities in several ways. Population is huge and growing rapidly. Geographically, Bengaluru is circular and spreading both horizontally and vertically. Land availability is a big challenge. What Bengaluru really needs is an efficient, extensive, and effective rail service which can take a significant number of people off the roads. Now, before sanction of BSRP, SWR turned down the option of providing meaningful local services on existing infra on grounds of saturation of then available railway network. Constraints of tracks and platforms led to commissioning of new third terminal near Bayapanhalli, and now work is going on at Cantonment as the fourth terminal, along with quadrupling of tracks between Cantonment and Whitefield and doubling of Yashwantpura Channasandra and Bayapanhalli Hosur. All these and more mainly to cater to ever-growing demands for regular medium to long-distance trains and freight from across the state and the country. Based on such factors, 4 years ago, a dedicated BSRP was sanctioned. To start with, to begin, acceptable levels of local commute on existing tracks today will need massive and urgent public, political, and government focus and action, including lots of systemic changes, investments, and huge additions to infra and resources. Additional tracks, platforms, stations, trains, staffs, depot, etc. are a must to provide meaningful local commute instead of some random train running at some random time along some random route, not as per public needs, but as per SWR's convenience. Now, let us look at some important and relevant points. From users' perspective, we must accept that the basic no compromise requirements of local commute system are high reliability, frequency, punctuality, and adaptability along an existing and well-integrated network. Another extremely important factor relevant for local commute is high transparency, accountability, and responsiveness. Is SWR capable of providing these? From my limited personal experience, the answer is a clear no. Suddenly, services are withdrawn for operational reasons. Trains, routes, timings, platforms, etc. are changed out of the blue. I personally monitored SWR's trains to airport for punctuality. With tolerance of plus or minus 2 minutes, their punctuality was a dismal 10%. And obviously, local trains will be held up to allow any delayed regular train. Under RTI Act, when asked about more services and extension of services, the response was shortage of memo rakes and shortage of loco pilots. All this clearly shows that local commute services is not SWR's competence or focus. If they could have, they should have. What prevented them? This is not to blame them. They have their own systems, constraints, priorities, etc., which unfortunately do not support true local commute services. At this stage, can a global and growing city like Bengaluru depend on such uncertainties with helplessness? During past few years, under public pressure, SWR tried its hand at local commute services and comprehensively failed in meeting the requirements. A real live example is the total failure of trains to airport started on 4th January 2021 by SWR. Now, talk of a dedicated suburban rail system started in the 1980s. After 40 long years of consultations, studies, and reports, on 21st October 2020, BSRP was the first project approved under the new Suburban Rail Policy 2018. Unfortunately, BSRP has been facing many challenges all along. One of the biggest challenges is the lack of real interest in our public reps to understand, monitor, and facilitate this project. Unfortunately, even social influencers and the rich and famous opinion makers stop after referring to bus and metro while talking about public transport. Somehow, the image of local rail commute is one of unreliable, random, erratic, overcrowded, and unclean coaches. Well, this is what we will get as local trains, but not so with the dedicated and modern BSRP. This distinction must be clearly understood. SWR itself has been generally lackadaisical in its approach towards BSRP. Also on silly and untenable grounds, SWR has rejected permission to K-Ride for carrying out feasibility study to extend BSRP's corridors to nearby towns. This wrong decision of SWR has not been challenged by any public rep to this day. As soon as BSRP was sanctioned, K-Ride was made to deprioritize its airport corridor, even though sanction letter asked for this to be commissioned by October 2023. And even though Government of Karnataka's own Directorate of Urban Land Transport gave its considered opinion that BSRP airport corridor must have priority. This deprioritization of BSRP's airport corridor was initiated by BMRCL. So Bengaluru has been deprived of excellent airport commute option from the heart of the city to the airport terminal. Work is yet to start on it even after 45 months. Which public representative has pushed for BSRP's airport corridor during these 45 months? The other two options of public transport, BMTC bus and metro, have great demand and support, which is good. But the lopsided and uneven approach also leads to putting down BSRP. If BSRP is stalled on any grounds, Bengaluru will be left with only BMTC bus and metro as PT. However, if BMTC was of serious interest to public reps, they would have doubled the number of buses long ago. From many years, the number of buses remains stagnant around 6,500. Hence, it is crystal clear that stalling BSRP will result in massive push for metro to extend its network all over. Every rupee spent will ultimately be paid directly or indirectly by you and me. A decade ago, cost of metro used to be around 200 crores per kilometer for elevated and 350 crores per kilometer for underground. Now it has doubled with average cost of rupees 500 crores per kilometer. Cost of BSRP is way down at about 100 crores per kilometer within city and about 80 crores per kilometer for extending to nearby towns of Tumukuru, Magadi, Ramanagara, Kunigal, Anekal, Bangarpete, Chikkaballapura, Doddaballapura, etc. And oh yes, without BSRP, We may also be handed over new flyovers, new road widenings, new elevated roads, new tunnel roads, etc., which will add to the number of vehicles on the roads. In any case, the option of local trains by SWR should have been taken up and comprehensively acted upon before sanction of BSRP, not now, when on-ground work on BSRP has already begun and is definitely progressing during past 2 years. Well, as far as trees are concerned, we must appreciate the fact that K-Ride has voluntarily been transparent about the entire quantity of trees to be cut for all 4 corridors, totaling 148 kilometers, including for depots during the next 3 to 4 years. Does anyone know totally how many trees will be cut for 148 kilometers of metro, including for their depot? K-Ride had the option of bringing out once in a while a small number of trees to be cut for particular sections, but it chose otherwise. We must also appreciate that BSRP tracks will have to run mostly along and close to the existing SWR tracks, since most of the land is being given by SWR. Also, there are safety considerations to do with distance between trees and tracks, which cannot be compromised. Trees have been, are being, and will be cut for all such projects. Roads and metro have already resulted in tens of thousands of trees cut, and more will be cut. This is very unfortunate, but this is reality too. That is why there are laws and rules to be followed for compensatory planting. We too want maximum possible trees to be saved, but the difference is not to stall the project, which will bring many benefits to the city and its surroundings. K-Ride has already voluntarily initiated actions to abide by the rules. We need to encourage them to do better and more. As a means of public transport, BSRP will have a huge positive ecological impact. We must also urge them to become more environment friendly by implementing additional green measures like rainwater soak pits, solar energy, etc. When they are ready to cooperate, why put them down? Is this truly in the interests of the city? So practically, the choice is simple. If not BSRP, it will be Metro. And the writing was on the wall already. There is talk of extending Metro to nearby towns before BSRP can get there. Unfortunately, the popular perception is Metro is comfortable, dependable, and modern, and none of these applies to BSRP. Well, the truth is different. Overall, BSRP is designed to be on par with, if not better than, Metro. BSRP coaches will be air-conditioned and better than Metro in terms of seating and baggage space. Average speed of BSRP will be higher than Metro's 34 kilometers per hour on account of BSRP's average interstation gap being slightly higher than Metro's. Frequency of BSRP trains is also designed to be similar to Metro's, one train every 5 to 12 minutes. BSRP will use the latest CBTC, communication-based train control signaling system, for higher safety and efficiency. BSRP 2 will have new, dedicated and modern stations. All of us know how, during construction, Metro results in massive disruption for years. BSRP does not. Road width sometimes is lost in the case of Metro, not in the case of BSRP. Carrying capacity of BSRP will be higher than Metro's, since BSRP stations are designed to handle 9 coach trains, while Metro stations can handle only 6 coach trains. Thankfully, K-Ride has planned to actually move some of their stations, for example, Majestic, Yashwanthpura, Hebbal, etc., closer to other modes of public transport for better integration. BSRP is bringing home a huge bonus to Bengaluru by innovatively eliminating 26 level crossings in the city, where each day thousands of vehicles are losing about 15 to 20 minutes each time a train crosses. BSRP also has a massive advantage of easy, quick, and highly economic extensions to the nearby towns. Metro is actually meant for intra-city decongestion, not for intercity decongestion. BSRP is meant for both. It will encourage living at the outskirts or nearby towns. It will help horizontal growth of Bengaluru, necessary for improving quality of life rather than vertical growth. When nearby towns get dependable, fast, safe, comfortable, and economic commute options, they will also develop, leading to decongestion of Bengaluru. In this sense, BSRP is the future of Bengaluru. Now, presently, Metro is taking about 7 lakh people off the roads daily. BSRP with its 4 corridors is designed to take 10 lakh people off the roads. BMTC buses are taking about 35 to 40 lakh people off the roads. About 30% of all trips in Bengaluru are by public transport. This number must more than double ASAP to about 75% in order to really free the roads. To achieve this, the only practical way forward is to drastically and quickly improve all 3 modes of public transport. We need all 3, along with proper connectivity, good walkability, cyclability, etc. But we are already way behind our requirements. And putting down BSRP now will definitely lead to metro everywhere, since SWR will never be able to take the place of BSRP. Stalling BSRP is nothing short of shooting oneself in the foot. In any case, now it is too late. At this stage, no politician, no official can ensure reliable, frequent, and punctual services by SWR across the existing railway network. If they can, they are welcome to publicly take the challenge without cutting trees and laying new tracks. When SWR is not practical for local commute, when killing or stalling BSRP will lead to heavy dependence on metro, it is for us to decide what we really want. I humbly and firmly conclude with a citizen's appeal to all stakeholders that the need of the hour is to push hard for faster work on BSRP and also get it extended to nearby towns. This will bring multiple benefits to Bengaluru as well as help develop the nearby towns. On our part, C4C has strongly urged KRI to comprehensively review and reduce the number of trees planned to be cut. But work on BSRP must be taken up on war footing, at least from now onwards. Dhanyawad.